Welcome to the Land House channel. I'm Seth. Ampace just sent over the P600. This is a 600 watt power station with a 584 watt hour lithium ion battery. Let's go ahead and pull this out of the box, put it through the paces, and see how well it performs. The items that come with this kit are the Ampace P600 power station. It's got a user manual. It's also got the car charging cable, and it then has the AC to DC power brick to charge this through wall power. All right, let's go ahead and take a tour around this item. Up top here, there is an LED panel. The on-off button is over here on the side. Here is your input. It's a DC 12 to 30 volt. Down below, you've got your 12 volt, 10 amp car port, and then two DC barrel plugs. Over here, you've got your USB Type-C, 60 watt, two USB Type-1, and a single USB Type-2. Over here is the AC side. The power button for that is right here. And this is 600 watts for the continuous output. Over here, there is a jump starter, 12 volt for your car, and an option to use the extended battery right over here. If we flip this up, you can see it's just got a single handle there on the top. Moving over to the side, it's got some little slits in the plastic with some cooling fans in there. Moving to the back, it's got a big 600 watt written there and the P600 model number. And one nice thing about this, it does have a readout for the various different outputs or inputs for the DC and AC on the unit. Moving over to this side, it's just got some more slits to allow airflow. And on the bottom, it's got 4 rubber feet to help this not slide around. All right, let's go ahead and turn this unit on and see what it's about. I'm going to press the LED light first. And you can see it has 82% capacity here stored in the battery whenever it was shipped. You can turn that light on. Has a couple of different brightness settings, a strobe and then an SOS, and then after that it turns the unit off. If I press the DC down here, you can see that it has turned on the DC option right there and has 99 hours because there is currently no output on that. Turn on this one, it turns on the USB Type-C and USB option there. Turn that off, click the AC, and it has the fan ramps up there real quick, and it turns on the AC indicator right there. All right, let's turn that off. Before I start using this product, I want to make sure it's fully charged. Now there are 3 different methods for charging. You can use the car charger, you can use the included AC to DC wall brick, or you can also use a solar panel, which is not included. Let's go ahead and test out all 3 of these, and then I'll charge this up fully before we begin our discharge test and showing all the different functions here on the top. Charging method number 1 is going to be the car adapter. So I'm going to plug that up over here into a 12 volt right there, and I can plug this up to the input over here. Okay, it has begun blinking on the 82%. It's got 81 watts right there. And if I move over here, I can see on this display, it's showing 100 watts out. And the instruction booklet does indicate that this is supposed to charge at 100 watts through the car charger. So not exactly sure what the missing 19 watts is between these two. But it is charging. It says it would take 1.2 hours to finish charging by this method. The next charging method is to use a 100 watt solar panel, which I have set up here. I've got the barrel plug, so I can connect this right in here. It immediately pops up. Let's see if I can get that to display for you. So we got 70 watts. All right, 54, 51. Let me see if I can adjust this panel to get some more watts into this unit. The display seems to fluctuate between 35 watts and 75 watts. Not entirely sure why the fluctuation, but anyway, it is charging by solar. There we go, almost 80. And it looks like it's going to take somewhere around 1.3 hours in this sun here. And the last charging method is to use the AC to DC power brick. Let me go ahead and get the cable unwound here. I'll plug this end into the wall. This end right here goes into the power brick. Does not seem to care direction. And then plug this up here. I'd like to be able to see 100 watts on the display. Let's see if it reaches that. Saw a 98 on there. Seems to be holding pretty steady at 96 watts. 1 hour from now, this should be fully charged, and we will begin doing a discharge test and trying out the DC and AC outputs. The unit has now reached full charge and the display has turned off. Go ahead and unplug that here now that we are done with it. Okay, let's go ahead and do a discharge test. So this is supposed to be able to run 600 watts continuously, and the battery is a 584 watt-hour battery. So I've got a little heater here. I believe the lowest setting should allow us to run this at this 600 watts. Let me check on it here. So plug that up. If it doesn't, I'll have to use a smaller load. All right, let me go ahead and bring up my stopwatch here. Okay, I've got the stopwatch. Go ahead and turn on the AC right here. It says capacity 100%. Go ahead and turn this on to setting 1. Push the start button on my timer here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got 493 watts. Let's see what it goes up to here. At 494 watts, let's just say, we've got 584 watt hours divided by 495. Let's just do that. So it should last for 1.18 hours. 58%, we are almost 26 minutes in. The fan just shut off. It ran for about 2 minutes and then turned off. So the unit seems to be operating without getting too hot. And anyway, so we have about 35 more minutes to go before this will be off. We're now at 8% and the time is about 55 minutes. So we are getting close here. Something strange happened. So whenever the display hit 4%, the watts dropped down to 390. So we're at 56 minutes now, 2%, and things are definitely starting to shut down here. So let's get down to the last 2%. We'll let this thing shut off completely. All right, so let's just call it 57 minutes. The battery now indicates that it is low. About 10 seconds passed before I started the stopwatch, so 57 minutes exactly is how long this power station ran for this little heater. So considering the efficiency of the inverter, I think this thing is spot on for its watt-hour rating here on this unit. Now that we've gotten the discharge test out of the way, let's go ahead and do a charge test. The unit says it will do 6 hours for a full charge, and so I've got the timer going once again, and I will let you know how this thing does on the charge. All right, and when that's done, I'll come back and we'll start doing some more testing of the different outputs here on this unit. At 4 hours and 44 minutes, we're at 78%. It's indicating that it has 1.4 hours left to go on this charge. I missed the exact mark that this thing was fully charged, but the display turned off and it was about 6 hours. So I think that is going to be basically by the book. So charging is good. A few noteworthy specifications on this unit. It weighs 17 pounds. It has a pure sine wave inverter rated at 600 watts and can run up to 1200 watts for a surge. It has the ability to charge this down to 14 degrees up to 113, and you can discharge this from -4 degrees to 113 degrees. So definitely a unit you can use in the cold weather. Now at 1,000 cycles, it will be at 70% on the battery. So definitely will get several years out of this thing, even if you use it every day. All right, so we've tested this out with the heater, but let's go ahead and do some more testing here. First of all, I've got this little air compressor. So let's make sure we turn on the DC here. So there, DC is on. Fan kicks on. I'm going to push the power button here. That's working well. All right, so we know that the car charging port is working on this unit. I'm going to turn that off real quick. Now I have a little Bluetooth speaker here. Let me go ahead and turn on the USB, and I can plug that up down here. There we go. Got 3 watts on that, and you can see that it has a little red light down in there, so it is operating. Now I want to see about triggering the unit here, so putting more watts than it will accept. So let me go ahead and see if this heater will do it. If not, I've got a little heat gun that'll do it for sure. So plug that up, turn on the AC. Has a fan that runs just for a moment there. I'm going to kick this thing up to 1400 watts, and let's see what happens. Sometimes these power stations will bring the watts down on this to meet what it's capable of. So here we've got 602 watts, and it may not bring it up enough to trigger it. Nope. Okay. I figured that might happen. All right, so let me go ahead and hook up my heat gun and see if that will trigger the overwattage value. All right, you ready? This thing is 1500 watts, so it'll either do the same thing the other heater did, or it will trigger here. Let's plug them both up and see what happens. There we go. All right, that did the trick. Turning both of those on have stopped the unit. Let's go ahead and turn the AC back on here. All right, and let's see if just resetting is what going to allow us to turn this back on. I just turned on the fan, and yes, 7 watts, so it is doing just fine. Now sadly, this unit did not come with the jump starter, so I can't test that out, and it did not have an extended battery, so I'm unable to test that as well. But we can go ahead and test out the LED light here. So let me turn this around, and we will press that here in the dark. Here's the first setting here. That just turns on the display. That turns on the light. We got second and third brightness. Let me step behind here so you can see how bright that is. So as you can see, that's plenty bright enough to work by or read. And this is using 10 watts for this setting. I'm gonna go ahead and trip the strobe and the SOS, and then back to the low setting. Let's see if we can get it to focus here. There we go. All right, so that's 2 watts. We've got still 2 watts, and then 10 watts. So I'm not sure what that medium setting, 2 watts, 2 watts. Interesting. They both say 2 watts. Let's check some settings here on this inverter. So go ahead and turn the AC on, let the fan kick on. All right, do a alternating current here on my multimeter, and let's see what this shows. Got 109, so this thing must be running at 110 volt. All right, let me flip this over to hertz. All right, this little flashlight is charging through the USB type 2. And let's see, also through the type 1, but for some reason it's not liking the USB-C 60 watt. Yep, doesn't seem to like that one. Now let's check to see if you can both charge and discharge this unit at the same time. I'm going to plug up the AC adapter here, let that kick on. All right, so we've got 95 watts. And now let me plug up this light here and turn on the AC. Yep, you sure can. The light has a little bit of a flicker over here that I'm seeing, and that might be due to this. Let's check it out. Nope, it seems to be flickering. This is an LED panel. Sometimes it needs a moment to warm up. So let me give it a second here. Okay, I've given this light a few seconds to warm up and it is still flickering. So I'm also hearing a slight pulsing sound inside of the inverter here. I don't know if you can hear that or not. Yeah, so for some reason, this LED light is causing this thing to have kind of a slight pulse to it. I don't have an oscilloscope to check to see that this is a pure sine wave inverter, but it did run those heaters no problem, but this light seems to have a bit of a flicker to it. But you are able to run or to charge at 100 watts while discharging at 200 watts. And this concludes my testing of the Ampace P600 power station. The charging and discharging of the battery performed as expected, which was definitely good. The DC side of things had no problems whatsoever. I was able to run that car charging port no problem, and also the USBs were good. Now the AC side definitely ran my heaters fine, but whenever I plugged up that LED panel, there was some flickering to that. So I'm not exactly sure that the inverter in here is a pure sine wave. So the LED light panel up here, no problems whatsoever. You're able to run that 2 watt, the low and medium settings for hours and hours. And then the high setting was 10 watts, so not quite as long on that. This does have a lithium ion battery in there, and so you're able to charge and discharge at a lower temperature. And also, this unit weighs 17 pounds and is about 1 foot by 1 foot, so easily stored in a vehicle or under a bed. If you've enjoyed this video, I have a link to this product down below. You can check out more information. Be sure to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.